Welcome to another episode of Pop Culture. So today, guys, we're bringing you something sorry, amazing. Oh, okay. It was amazing. Sanibonani Bazalon, and welcome to another episode of Pop Culture. So guys, we're bringing you something so super extra special, a very first for the channel. We have collaborated with BBC. No, that's not the accent. So we've collaborated with BBC to bring you this content piece related to home. We are bringing on board Lebo Diseko, who is a South African but has grown up in the UK into her adult life. So we want to just find out from her, does she identify with South Africa as home or the UK as home? So keep watching. Sorry. Welcome, Lebo.
Thank you.
Please can you introduce yourself and tell the people on these streets who you are, what do you do, what are you doomering with? What is it? Doing and
What makes you famous, girl? What makes you famous?
My name is Lebo Diseko, and I am a presenter and reporter for the BBC.
Yes.
I work on BBC World News and also for BBC Africa as well.
Nice. So today we brought you on board for this content piece in collaboration with what we've also done for the BBC. Just talk about home. So obviously you've mentioned to us that you are born here, or you were born here, but you didn't grow up here for the hugest chunk of your life. So can you just give us a bit of background on that?
So my parents were political exiles, went to the UK, grew up there, but as I was saying, my parents' approach was like, it's the UK outside, but in this house.
Yes.
I remember, I didn't have, when I was growing up, I didn't have like cartoon posters and stuff on the wall. I just woke up one morning and there was Free Nelson Mandela, and then there was, I remember waking up and there was Ankh on the wall. Oh, what's Ankh? It's the ANC.
Oh, wow. Ankh, okay.
I was a bit about five. I heard Ankh. What? No, I was young, So that was very much what my parents were like, and I think they spoke about South Africa every single day. So when 94 happened, I guess it was like the expectation that you come home and it's like coming back to the promised land.
Come back, baby.
Yeah, baby. So I came back, I went to Wits, and it was amazing. I mean, certainly I grew up in a predominantly white area. My school was mainly white, and to come somewhere where I was in the majority and there were all sorts of different people just like me doing amazing things was incredible. So I loved it. The longer I was here though, I think the fact that I had grown up somewhere different did come through. So I guess the place I grew up did shape me, you know.
And just in terms of your upbringing and just pertaining to the content and the conversation we want to have with you today, do you feel like, of the two, what is home to you? And what defines, or how do you identify a particular place as home?
Yeah, I think people do want to box me a lot. For me, I actually feel I identify as a Londoner. And I identify as South African. I think in London there are a lot of different people from all different kind of backgrounds, and there are also a lot of people whose parents were from Africa and they were born in the UK, so kind of have a similar experience to me. And I guess that whole kind of being able to relate to what was cool at school, that kind of things, similar experiences. But I mean, also at home in South Africa, there's my family, there's the people that I love, there's the people that, are my blood. So that can't not be home, it's a part of me.
Do you think you get to a point where you don't actually have to feel like you have to just define or, prove to people that this is home and I'm just living my life? Like the older that you grew and you were like, okay, cool, this is fine. If anyone is to ask, I'm saying South Africa and Londoner, and not only just because you're having that internal fights, but that you have been able to, just box out society and what they are continually questioning you about yourself.
I think the place that I have felt the most questioning is South Africa.
Okay.
But the place I've also felt most compelled to fight for is South Africa. It's like that man that sometimes he treats you right, but other times he's, you know. So yeah, I think, I don't know that I've had to prove myself as a Londoner as such. I hope I get to the point, or we get to a point where people just can be, you know, and that's really what home is. You know, Christmas time, it was being around the people who love me, who have seen me through ups and downs, and who I don't have to be like anything else but myself. You know, they might think my Tswana's funny, but it's okay.
So I recently on my Instagram, and I know some of y'all who watch my Insta stories would know that I did a whole post on, so Sade, who was a YoTV presenter, she's now moved to the UK. And apparently she's been there for something like about 6 months or whatever, and she's kind of picked up, and some people, that's what I'm saying, that people who came in my DMs were like a couple of months. Anyway, she's picked up a little bit of an accent. And there's a lot of backlash when it comes to South Africans going to certain places, and within a week, yeah, cry, they're already rolling their tongues and things. Did you get any backlash when you then came to Wits around your accent? Because I mean, at the end of the day, you grew up in the UK. I mean, you were 2 years old and you went, so I don't know. For me, I feel like I would have just assumed that Vele, you were going to pick up the accent and make sense. You were there pretty much your whole life. Did you get any backlash, you know, regarding that?
I didn't around my accent, but I did get, why don't you speak? Why didn't your parents teach you? I mean, from the person in the grocery store to the taxi driver to just people on the streets in Braamfontein would like shout. And for me, I think, you know, I actually stopped. My parents always spoke to me. I kind of stopped speaking around, I think I must have been about 8-ish. We went to Botswana, and I just remember being in a truck and the kids like laughing and pointing and throwing things at me. So I just thought, no, I'm not doing this. So I think I have it in me, and I often know what I want to say, but just formulating it and just feeling like, oh gosh.
The confidence.
Yeah, exactly. But if you don't just do it, if you don't just speak, then how do you get any better?
True.
So, you know, hence this time I said, you know, I was going to resolve, just speak. And, you know, my cousin said, it's okay, but it's fine. We love it.
Yeah. When I was speaking to the girls who then did, you know, DM me about the whole accent thing, and they kind of expanded a lot more around the fact that it's become a coping mechanism of sorts, in terms of they get asked all the time, like, where are you from? You know, are you from this certain place? Basically they don't fit in, or they feel like they don't fit in. They feel that having to put on the accent allows for them to be able to adapt into the space. Is there anything for you when you think about that kind of stuff in terms of existing now in the UK as an African? What are the dynamics that side?
I tell you, I think one thing that has really just made me in life is that I know what my story is. Like I know what my story is. I know my history, I know my family. My parents spoke about different characters in the fact that albums came out every day. I know my story. And I think that when you are in a place where you might not be the majority, that is really, really important. In terms of, look, I don't know what it's like to not sound like the people you are at school with, I think, or, you know, or I think that experience can be quite difficult. So I guess people try and fit in the way that they do. But it's weird, you know, I had a friend that I have been friends with since I was at university. I went to Wits, and then I went and I did a postgrad in the UK. So me and him became friends around the age of 22, but I'd just come back from South Africa. And he said, oh, you've always had an accent. You don't have a British accent at all.
Well, guys, this conversation could go on and on, but I think the biggest thing is that we did another content piece on BBC. So can you please let us know where exactly what the channel is called, and where they can find the content piece? This is a continuation of that conversation. So if you've landed on this content first, after you finish here, go there. If you go on that one first, then, well, obviously, then come back, or obviously, because whatever, you get the point. So yeah, so just please let the people know, where can we actually find this content?
So it's the BBC Africa YouTube and Facebook pages is where you'll find the content. Just go on YouTube, do BBC Africa.
And the basic thing is subscribe. This is a content collaboration, so subscribe on our channel, subscribe on their channel, and subscribe on all the other content creators that are doing the pods. Subscribe, comment, share, watch, and like. You know what time it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and catch you guys next time. Please leave your comments below as well. Like, what are your thoughts on this conversation? What is home? What's the truth? Thank you.
I think what we could probably all do with, myself, people everywhere, is just understanding that everybody wants to fit in, everybody wants to be accepted, everybody wants to be liked, and we're all just trying to do our best, you know, and maybe just trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Do you know what I mean? A little bit of that, I think, is something that could help.